So it shall be written. So it shall be done.
Human language, when it's not written down, it is primarily speech. It does not have this external objectifiable form on a page so that you can think about it and name it as language and think of it as something that one can set aside or pick up or do things with. Rather, it's something we inhabit. It's a medium we are immersed in, as it were.
It has enormous metacognitive implications. The power is this, that you can not only think in ways that you could not possibly think if you did not have the written word, but you can now think about the thinking that you do with the written word.
Analytical, logical analysis is possible only when you have it there and it doesn't disappear with breath. You can go back, and you go back, and you come back.
Once we start writing, we are able to then reflect back upon what we have written, and we enter into this kind of recursive relation to our own written signs. And so only then a certain degree or experience of self-reflection that we now sort of take for granted comes into being.
Writing and reading makes you think about your thoughts in a deliberate kind of way that you just don't have an opportunity to do in your ordinary action and talking. So the invention of writing contributed to what we call the growth of subjectivity. People's ability to think about your own thoughts.
The bottom line of this is that the big step between us and animals is indeed language, but the big step between civilization and more primitive forms of human society is written language.
The fact is that the invention of a writing system, and then the adoption of writing systems around the world has been the thing that gives our modern societies their predominant character.
It's right as far as it goes to say that language, that written language enables civilization, but I would go a further step and say it doesn't just enable it in the sense of making it possible, but rather it constitutes it. It is a constitutive element of civilization in that you cannot have what we can think of as the defining social institutions of civilization without having written language. You cannot have universities and schools, but not just the pedagogical institutions, but you can't even have money or private property or governments or national elections or, for that matter, cocktail parties and marriages. To have all of those, you can't even have a summer vacation or a lawsuit without written language. So written language is where language acquires not just a much greater creative power, but an enduring power, because you can create these wonderful writings that survive, that go on and get repeated. Think of the Constitution of the United States or the Declaration of Independence.
That's the infrastructure.
Indeed, it is the infrastructure, but it isn't just the infrastructure of roads and bridges. It's the infrastructure of human civilization itself.